Hi, my name is Amy, and I'm going to talk to you today about sewing a hem. Now, before you run for the hills and cry out that I'm talking about some sort of archaic fine art, realize that most tailors actually want you to believe sewing is much harder than it really is. I'm going to discuss 3 simple steps to actually making a good hemline. Why is this important, you're probably asking? Well, in 5 pairs of pants, you can probably save yourself the money that you would spend on a tailor. And that's including the purchase of a sewing machine and thread. So for me, I wind up hemming most of my pants because I'm a little bit too short for regular inseam, but too tall for short inseam. So I fit in that in between. So most pants I purchase, I wind up hemming to prevent damage and maintain a clean, professional look. But the why of exactly why you change your hemline is really up to you. There's a lot of potential reasons, anything from like what I do as far as keeping pants nice and neat and professional to, oh, my kids have damaged the bottom of their blue jeans, but they still love them. Why don't we just turn them into capris or even shorts? So the why behind your choice to actually change your hemline is up to you. I'm going to talk about 3 simple steps of actually how to do it. So diving right in, we're going to start deciding where we're going to place the new hem. Now, to make sure that we're on the same page, this pair of pants, this is the hemline. So this is the very bottom of the pants. Now, I have 2 pins here. You have a purple pin and a blue pin. The purple pin actually represents if I were standing up wearing the pants, where I actually want the pants to fall. So this is most easily accomplished by standing on a chair or something stable and letting someone you trust not to stab you put the pin into place, making sure that it's appropriately even all the way around the pants. So usually a couple of pins will do the trick. Now the turquoise pin, the pin that was actually closer to the edge of the pants, is what we call seam allowance. So in the case of these trousers, it's about 1 inch for the cuff, this part, and then you can kind of see there's another little bit that's been folded in so that it's a nice pocket where the extra fabric has been tucked away. The reason that you do this, and this is kind of a play dress that I made for my daughter, is you don't want this going on inside your pants. This is fraying and getting nasty and just not nice. So by doing another fold, you have that pocket. And so you need to allocate space for that fabric because you don't want to not leave seam allowance and then wind up with your pants being too short. This is where the measuring comes in. So measure how long you want your pants to be as far as the extra fabric for the cuff. In this case, on these pants, this is about 1 inch, and then this inside, this second fold is about 1/4 inch. So I would recommend about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches of seam allowance, depending on your level of skill. So that's why we have about 1.25 inches between the 2 pins. Now, below the turquoise pin is actually where you're going to cut. So that concludes step 1. We have our pin of where we're actually going to be having our finished hem. We've got our pin to indicate where we need to make our cut and leave seam allowance. So now that we've figured out where we're going to cut. It's pretty straightforward, just snip, snip, snip. The next step is going to be the fold and press. Again, this is not what we want. So this is our first fold for this demonstration. So notice how it has this nice creased edge. That's where the pressing part comes in. Again, please don't run for the hills, but you might want to get an iron out and actually press it using a little bit of steam. This creates a nice crisp edge and it keeps you from having to fight with your fabric. This is something that my grandmother, Leslie Floyd, taught me to do when I was making my first dresses as a little girl. So little 8-year-old Amy sitting in her grandmother's lap was also told to iron down the edge. Now, adult Amy says, I'm lazy, I'd rather not do that. I've found with experience, not only from my grandmother, but from myself in making dresses for my daughter, it just comes out easier if you press it. Trust me. So Once you've made that first fold, then we're going to fold it again. So that's why we fold and press twice. It creates this nice pocket, and you're going to iron it down again. Now, you're going to put a couple of pins to keep that nice crease in place and not get it ruffled, but it should hold itself fairly well because you ironed it. And that's where the sewing machine, dun dun dun, comes in. So I'm not going to go into the details because each sewing machine is going to be a little bit different. I looked at the Brother LS 52125i on Amazon. It's similar to the Singer machine that I use. It's got about 10 stitches and a blind hem. So all you do is select the correct stitch based on your owner's manual, place your fabric there, and then press the pedal and off you go. Before you know it, you're going to make the full circuit back around to where you started. This is where also my grandmother would give you some good advice and tell you to press the back button and let it make 3 backward stitches. What those stitches do is it acts like kind of tying a knot. Now, it's not going to create any kind of mess or anything, but it basically locks in the stitch, and so your stitching won't come undone over time. And now you're done. Just gently pull the garment away and snip the strings, getting rid of all the excess, and now you've hemmed one side of your pants. All you have to do now is complete the 3-step process on the other side, and you've got perfectly hemmed pants for exactly what you need. Now, revisiting the why you would want to attempt this 3-step process. As I said, express pants can run you somewhere around $69.90 based on what their website says today. And the Brother sewing machine I mentioned on Amazon is going to cost you about $74.99. So taking that into account, if you paid about $15 for each time you changed a pair of pants hem, the sewing machine would pay for itself in about 5 pairs of pants. Now, with harder economic times, this seems like a good idea. So what I would suggest, find a sewing machine that works for you, and then measure with your 2 pins, fold and press twice to create the perfect little pocket, and then get sewing. It's that easy.